as we look at breakouts, and in this case, specifically digital or online breakouts, this platform that I will be sharing with you today is only slightly less new for me than it is for you. So this is definitely a very new area of professional learning and support for me. So we're going to possibly end up doing some problem solving and question answering all together as we explore, but you will get to try one today. You'll be trying one of the breakouts first so you can kind of see a little bit of it. There's so many possibilities for activity types that you're only going to get a small sample actually in the one that we're trying, but you'll have a chance to try one. So how many of you have done an escape room? Have you ever gone to an escape room and tried one? You have. Good. So escape rooms are basically set up with kind of a story or a context, and they actually lock you in the room. And there's this story. There's a reason why you're locked in the room, and there's a reason why you need to get out. But to get out, you have to find the clues, solve puzzles and riddles, and decode things to figure out the code that opens the lock that gives you the next clue, right? And so your whole goal is to work collaboratively with your team to find and solve the clues so that you eventually break out. And this is similar to that. There is an educational version for doing in the classroom. Since we are not allowed to lock students in our classrooms, they frown on that. So they have, instead you get a box and you put what's called a hasp on it. And that hasp allows you to attach multiple locks so that they're actually breaking into the box. Right? They find the clues to unlock each lock. Digitally, it's not really that different. You try to come up with a context, but you'll see even in the ones we're doing today in the deck gallery, they don't always have a built up context. The biggest thing that people try to do is give students opportunities to use their critical thinking skills, their content knowledge, on any given topic, review of a year's worth of topics, whatever it's going to be. And collaborative skills, if they choose to set it up to be a collaborative one, to break out of this digital breakout room. So that's essentially what, in a nutshell, that's what a breakout is. Hold on one second. Robot vacuum. Of course, comes right into the room when it starts. So we're going to today, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start by trying one from a particular platform. And the reason I've picked this platform is because it has a very large assortment of breakouts ready for you to copy into your account and use if you would like to. And when you copy them in, they are editable. So if you did need to make an adjustment, you could. We won't be talking so much about the editing in this session because the one this afternoon is how to make your own breakouts, which would also include the knowledge you need to edit an existing breakout. If we have time today, I'll touch on the editing. I think we'll just have to play it by ear and see if the timing works out. But if we have time, I'll be able to touch on the editing of exercises or activities in it a little bit. So we'll practice with one, we'll play with one a little bit. And then I'll show you where I got it and what the deck gallery looks like. I'll talk to you about how to launch a game from the teacher side once you've picked one. And then you'll have some time to explore the deck gallery on your own. That's the plan, assuming nothing goes wrong. Okay, sound good? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to click on this link. You're going to need to join a class, and I'm going to be doing a couple of things. When you join, don't try to play a game or, oops, perfect. Don't try to play the game. You'll see something on your screen. For now, just click and leave it alone. Just click to join. It might ask you to type your name. I can't remember because I haven't joined too many games. I just keep creating them. So it might ask you to type your name. But other than that, don't try to click on the image you'll see or start the activity. Just join and let it sit there and then come right back into Zoom. Sound good? Okay, so join. There you go. There's a link there you should be able to click on. Go ahead and click on that. It might ask you to type your name or sign in with Google. And as soon as you're in with a name, just come right back to Zoom. And then if you can give me with the participant. Well, actually, I think I can see all of you. I can. If you can give me a thumbs up or use your participant icons to give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. Okay. Awesome. Oh, you're all so fast. Give me 1 second. We just had someone join, so I'm going to need to repaste the link and give her a second to hop in. All right. Welcome, Stephanie. I'm going to put a link in the chat. When you get there, type your name and then just come right back to Zoom. Don't play the game you'll see there. Not
Okay,
there.
thanks.
Magali is one of my favorite names, actually. Someone to put that in the chat. Their French name. The question is, did you get to choose it or did the teacher choose it? I used to always let my students choose. I figured if they were going to have to take on a new identity, this one they can pick. Their secret identity. It also then assured too, I also didn't let them duplicate though. Everybody had a unique name. All right. Okay, I think we have everybody in. Did you all get in okay? I saw several thumbs up happen. And Stephanie, did you get in okay?
Okay, so you want us to sign in or you just want us to get onto the page?
Onto the page, and if it asks for your name or to sign in, go ahead and you don't have an account, but I mean, if you should just be joining like with your name.
Gotcha.
And then come back to Zoom.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. All right. So there is a game there waiting for you, but what I would like to do, and again, thank you in advance for your patience because I haven't had a chance yet to try this with a group. I did try to do a test run last week and then people got busy and there were only 3 people and I couldn't test what I needed to test. So thank you in advance for being my guinea pigs because I'm really hoping this works. I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. Okay. And when I put you in breakout rooms, one of you can share your screen. You can make teams in Deck.Toys. So where you're at now, in fact, I'm going to hop over there. I won't be able to see Zoom for a minute because I'm going to actually hop over to my Deck.Toys thing and see how it's looking right now. So I'm going to go to my teacher view. Let me share my screen actually, because you'll get to see this. Hold on a second. Sorry, many buttons. Let me share my screen so you can see what's happening. So what I did is I went into my account and I'm going to go to teacher view. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. I opened the wrong one. I have a few different ones. Yeah, I know. This is a freemium platform. So, oh, no. What happened? Hold on a second. Something happened. Unassign. Ah, there you go. That's what I wanted. All right, now we can go to teacher view. So I keep getting warnings, that I've hit my limit for how many rooms I can have and because I'm using the free account right now. And as you can see off to the right-hand side, I have all of my students. Okay. If I decide that I want to go to teams, so if I say 4 teams and I'm going to say random, apply and start grouping. Students will be randomized, continue grouping. Now, here's the challenge. By doing 4 teams, in theory, what I would need to do now is go in and go to Zoom and make breakout rooms, right? So to save us time today, I'm not going to try to manage that right now. But I wanted you to know that you can create teams in this platform. You can then build the same teams in breakouts. If you do, in breakout rooms in Zoom. If you do that, my tip is going to be similar to what I'm about to ask you to do now. So although this broke you into teams, and it won't let me out of it, I don't think. Oh, let's see if I can undo it. Teams, none, assign. Okay, I'm going to take you out of those teams. I am going to put you in breakout rooms. When I put you in breakout rooms, you might find it easier to have one person who's comfortable doing so go to the game and share their screen so that when you need to, you can help each other out, right, with the games. Because one of the nice, kind of interesting challenges about these breakouts and about these games is that you also have to work together. You've got to figure out how to play the game. There's different on this map that you see. There's different activities. And you have to start where it says entry and just determine, is there something you need to do here? Or do you just need to read it? Is it just information? And then you're going to follow this around, and there's a thing called lines. Well, you're going to have to figure out how to play that. So if I put you in teams and you're in breakout rooms, someone can share their screen and go, hey, I think I figured it out. Here's how you play. Okay, now go back to your game and go keep playing, which means you're kind of doing a semi-collaborative and semi-independent because I took you out of your teams, right? And then you go to the match game when you finish. Well, how do you make the match game work? If you figure it out, you can keep playing. But if you're stuck, you can go back to your breakout room and say, hey, group, I need help. I'm stuck, right? And then you have a maze. And it's not just a maze. You actually have to use skills to do it. And then you have choices, and then you arrive at the end. So your goal is to get to the end by correctly solving all the games and finding everything you need to find as quickly as you can. Again, in an ideal situation, you might break them up into teams in this platform and have them be in the same teams in Zoom with breakouts. But for today, I'm just going to put you all in breakouts, knowing that you can progress through this independently and individually if you feel comfortable doing so. But by giving you breakouts, you have a team of supporters that you can draw upon to say, hey, can someone share their screen? I'm stuck on how to play this game, or I'll share my screen or whatever. Does anybody have any questions before I, and I can only see some of you right now. So if you have a question, raise your hand so that I know. Oh, hi, Kristen.
Hi.
You're one of the ones I can see.
I'm wondering why you might choose to have it be individual versus group.
That's going to be a choice for, like, normally, I think in many cases, you might want it to be group. So that they're practicing collaborative skills and so on. On the
Right.
flip side, if you just want them to have an opportunity to individually work through the content and the practice, and depending on what kinds of tasks are involved, and if it, you know, it's practice for them with the skills you're working on, they could work through the breakout individually. Just each game is practicing a skill, or primarily vocab practicing and showing that they understand concepts related to your content or vocabulary related to your content. In
Okay.
this case, that's most of how the games work.
Okay, thank you.
So it kind of depend on what your goals are and what kinds of games. I will say that there are some games, none in this one, but there are some games that you can embed into these breakouts that actually require them to be in teams. Because of what they're asked to do. Like they have to work together with the study set that the game is built on. Okay. So today you're kind of doing a weird blend. You're doing a blend of, if you feel comfortable doing so, you can plow through individually, but please be nice and be ready to help people in your breakout room. Because if you're plowing through, you obviously figured out how to play the games. So if someone in your breakout room is like, oh my God, I'm so stuck, I can't get past this first game, what did you do? Please help. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put you in breakout rooms, which means it might zap you back into Zoom, because I can tell some of you are starting because I'm looking at my thing. It might zap you back into Zoom for a minute. Once you're in your breakout rooms, remember you can leave your microphones on because you can only hear each other in your rooms. You won't be able to hear all the other rooms also. Okay? All right, good luck, everybody. I'm going to follow your progress on my own teacher dashboard, and I'll call you back together as someone or maybe multiple people start to finish. All right, so I'm going to set up your breakout rooms and set you off to practice your own thing. Hold on a second. I'm going to stop sharing. Here we go. 4 rooms and create. There you go. Open. All right. Good luck. Okay, perfect. And I saw a chat come in, so let me grab that. All right, so one of the questions was, how do we access this from the Google apps? You don't, because it's not Google. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but it's actually not a Google product at all. It's web-based. It works with Chromebooks. Generally speaking, it's supposed to work with Chromebooks, tablets, computers, phones, because it's essentially just operating off of the internet. So it's not something that lives in your Google Drive, and it's not a Google app in and of itself. So every time you want to access it or do anything on it, you are going to go to the Deck.Toys website in order to do your work there. And the students will you'll give the students a link the same way. You'll give them a link, it'll bring them to this. So that also means it doesn't even necessarily really play with Google Classroom, other than just like any other link, you can put a link in Google Classroom. That link takes them to Deck.Toys. All their work is in Deck.Toys. Nothing is in Google Classroom. All Google Classroom did was provide a place for you to put a link that got the kids to the activity. So that's where we're at there. As you can see on my screen, I can actually tell where my students are, right? I can tell where they are based on their initials. And I know you didn't all get to finish, I'm sorry. And you can also see the point values, right, for that points that were being accumulated as people played the games. Okay, so it also will let you, I'll show you in a little bit, it'll let you preview the games. That's what I did to pick the one that I wanted to use for today. So even though I was all by myself, I could preview it and decide if it was going to work out for what I wanted to do today. And that is something I highly recommend that everybody do. And the next piece that we're going to go into, the first thing I'm going to do actually is I am going to put in the chat the link, here we go, to the slide deck, because you'll want that just in case you want to review. Oh, nope, hold on a second. It decided to put a Zoom link in instead. Hold on, let me go get the slide deck again. Share, at least I noticed it. All right, and slide deck. There we go. So this is a Google Slides deck, which means this you can save to your Google Drive, put it in a folder so that you know where it is the next time that you need it. So please feel free to go ahead and grab the deck. I am going to back up to where we're at. Actually, I went way ahead. While you were playing, I actually grabbed a screenshot and added it to the slide deck. So I want to make sure that we go back to where we were. All right. So the first thing that I want to do is give us a chance to debrief. What are some of your thoughts about this particular, the platform? Again, this was a very small sample of the many activities that are available, but what are some of your thoughts so far about it?
Super fun.
Yeah, was it fun?
I thought it was fun.
I did too. Like, I mean, you know, when you first start, there's a certain part of you, this is why video gaming works for people who are gamers. They can fail at a section of the game hundreds of times and they'll still keep trying because they want to get through. And so the maze was the one for me that even in the work I had done with this platform so far, I hadn't tried the maze. And that was the one where I was like, why? I don't understand how I make this work. But then I just kept playing and I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get it to work. But it's fun. What other thoughts do you have?
So Nicole, when you create an activity, say like the maze or the matching, are all those icons and all that already in program? Okay.
Yep.
So you would just, for example, do your own vocabulary.
Yes.
And then just, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. They call it a study set.
Okay.
So and in the other session this afternoon where I talk about making your own, we go a little more in depth on that, because most of the time, if you're going to borrow one from the gallery, then they've already built in the study sets and you picked it because it works out for your students. Right. So, and Mimi, there are some in French.
Oh,
I haven't played with too many of them yet, but there are some in French.
What about in art?
You know, I haven't looked, but part of what we're doing today is exploring the gallery.
Okay, great.
Awesome. So,
awesome.
All right. Any other thoughts that you had?
It's fun. It's really, it was very, very good.
And it gave us an opportunity to talk, which
to talk in a purposeful way. Like, yes, you could still have fun while you were chatting in the room, of course, too. Like in my own classroom, when I was teaching, I knew if I put students in a group, we are social beings, right? I expect them to do the task, but I don't expect them to never talk about anything else. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're social beings. So they have this opportunity to come together and yes, work together on the task, talk about the task. And yeah, maybe they check in on what did you do this weekend or whatever. And I'm fine with that, right? While they're doing the task, but they have this opportunity to come together around something and work something out. and share their knowledge. And it's not just knowledge of the content, but also for some learners, sharing their ability to problem solve and figure out a new game and how it's going to be played. And they can share that with their group because they figured it out on behalf of the group, and so on. Anything else you would like to share? Hello, I see someone's daughter in the background.
She wants to see what we're doing.
She
I
probably
love
wants
the
to play.
collaboration. Yeah, she does. And I was thinking, gosh, my 5th grade daughter would love this. And I'm a K teacher. And at first I'm like, oh man, I'm in the wrong PD because I can't do this with kinder. But when I was in it, we were actually thinking of different ways to make it work for kinder. It's so engaging. I love the collaborative being in the group room, and
Yeah.
I loved working with the ladies and problem solve together. Loved it.
Thank you. I think one of the things that came up, I don't remember which room I was in, and I also forgot who said it, so my apologies. But I dropped in on, I made it to 3 of the 4 rooms. Sorry, I didn't make it to breakout room 4. But, and one of them had mentioned that, oh my God, the maze was just going to be awful for those students with dyslexia. And so one other thing to bring up is, even if you import the game, you can edit the game. And that also means swapping out the activities. So once the study set is built, and remember, your games from the deck gallery are going to come with study sets. Once the study set is built, you will see in a moment, you just have a huge assortment and array of different activities that you can swap out and put in instead, right? Using that same set of vocabulary or concepts, whatever it is that you're working on. So
Nicole, how old is this, or how new is this Deck.Toys?
I'll have to do some research.
Well, don't worry, you've got enough
new.
on your plate.
Well, I don't
relatively new.
I mean, kind of, but there are pieces of how it works that make me think that it's a slightly older platform when it comes to interactive technologies. There are pieces of how it works that don't feel like the way, if someone were to design this exact same thing today, it would work differently. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's at least a few years old.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nicole,
Yeah.
sorry, you said we can edit them. Does that mean that we can add instructions?
Yes, you can.
Good idea.
I was mean, and I'm that person didn't have them, and I didn't put any in.
Well,
That
that's
was
good
the
to
one
know.
thing I noticed I didn't care for, because we always tell our kids to read directions. I know part of it is to explore and find out what you're supposed to do,
I
but
know.
like the maze thing was like, what are we supposed to do? But we had a group member that helped, so that was
Yeah.
good.
No, you can add instructions, and it has immersive reader built in. So if the students need the instructions read aloud to them, they can do that.
Oh, nice.
However, it's not the full version of what Microsoft has available, like with translating. So it only does English. Okay, for that. All right. Oh, did not mean to do that. All right, so let's go to the next. So first things to know is, in like the anatomy of a game that you do in this Deck.Toys platform, there's basically 3 kinds of things. There's flashcards, which I don't think this one actually used, but they are an opportunity for students to review the study set before they play the games. Or you could put you could put it in at any point on the trail. You could put it in the middle if you wanted. But a study set will then make a flashcard activity, if you want to use it, that doesn't do anything. It has the word or picture on one side. They click to flip it, and it shows the word or concept or explanation on the other side. The other kind of activity it has is a thing called slides. And that one's interesting because the way the slides, it kind of looks like a Google Slides, especially if any of you have started looking at the way you can make a template of a student activity with Google Slides, where there's a spot for them to type right on the Google slide, and there's a spot for them to do whatever. It's a little bit set up like that. And within the slide, you still have a list of, I think, 12 different activities you can drop on the slide for them to do. And you could make a slide, I think, but I haven't tried yet, that you can make multiple slides, almost like a slide presentation, and have that be a slides activity. It also has a notes section, a little bit like Google Slides has the notes underneath. If you choose to use them down here, you can use the speaker notes area. It also has a notes area. It's actually I wanted to say it's not as big. That's wrong. It's actually bigger and the font size is bigger. And you can use that and you can hide clues in there. So for one of the ones that I designed for actually a social we're doing for the administrators professional organization for our district's chapter of it on Thursday, I designed a breakout. And one of the things they need, there's a slide activity at the beginning that I'm using as a kind of, what do you already know about our organization? So it's kind of drawing up prior knowledge. But they need to read the notes because inside the notes, I've hidden the information for a padlock key, right? That they're going to need to, the information they need is inside the note for the slide. So you can use the slides notes as well. And then there are things called study set games, and that's what you experienced today. They are swappable, different kinds of games that are all just built using the study set of vocabulary or concepts that are being explained. And there's probably around 20 of those that you can swap out. So those are the activity types. So what I wanted to do here, and this is actually 2 screenshots, just so you know, that I lumped onto each other. If you choose to do the slide templates, and again, you can put that at any point on the trail. So you could have a flashcard thing. The next place they go is a slide template. The next place they go is, you know, a study set game and so on. You can choose where these go. But if you choose the slide templates, the kinds of things that you might see when you first click on it to open it, notice over here on the left, you can add a new slide. So it can be a whole presentation. You can actually build a lesson into this, right? And you can insert media, including video. So you could build a lesson presentation here. And later today is more about the building, but you could have a whole presentation here. Plus you can put all these activities in. So you might run across one in the deck gallery. Mine today didn't have it, but you might run across one that uses one of these things, a slide template. And that template might have multiple slides. It might have some content that is presented as part of a lesson and then have activities for them to do. This is just a few of them: text, draw, photo, voice, place marker, lock. But if you click over to the right where I covered it up with a new screenshot, it says more. And if you click more, you realize, I don't know, I'm not even counting. There's a lot. There's 7, 14. Okay, so there's like 23 of them. Now, 3 of them are locked unless you pay for the pro account. So the mystery crypt, mystery mine, and mystery, that's really low.
Piano?
Plane?
Oh.
Piano. You're right, it is piano. Mystery piano are locked unless you buy an account. I am using the free account right now. So you don't need to worry about building one of those, but just know that when you explore the deck gallery, you might see something that doesn't look like the study set games. And if that's the case, it's probably one of these slide templates where they built in some content and then built some checks for understanding in by using these slide apps.
It sure would be neat if you could put this into like a Google slideshow, you know,
Right.
like put it in your slide deck and have little, you know, ways to test
So
kids.
here's the bummer. This one, well, so far, it would be the opposite. It would be take your Google slideshow and put it into this. Because this doesn't automatically, it doesn't talk to Google really that well. It will bring in some stuff from your Google Drive. But there's no way, if you try to take the game, like the slide app, and put it in one of your Google slides, you actually still have to come to Deck, like it has to be in Deck.Toys for the kids to play. But you could, notice it also doesn't have an upload for Google Slides, which I thought was a bummer. Now, you could see what happens. Remember I said I'm learning too, right? So you could see what happens if it says insert media and you're like, from Google Drive, could I insert, do you consider a slides thing media? Usually they don't. Usually media is image or video or audio. Okay. So you could, sorry about the multi-step process, export your Google Slides as a PowerPoint and pull them into this so that you could add the apps. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's a workaround. I mean, at least it doesn't mean you have to rebuild the whole thing. Right.
But it's neat. It's neat that you can do it at all.
Yeah. And what I gave you on this slide deck, remember I put the link in your chat. So don't forget to save that to your drive so that you have it. This is a link. so that it will take you right to an article that actually explains
Oh,
it has a video, it shows you a list, and then it talks to you about each app and tells you what it is.
okay.
Okay, so that you can go through and have an easier time choosing which app or apps you would like to use along with side of your content. Okay. Hold on a second. My Zoom tools are in my way. This never happens to you all, right?
Ever.
Ever. I'm like trying to figure out. There we go.
Nicole, before you move on, I have a quick question about the media.
Yeah.
So is it restricted to YouTube videos only, or can you insert something else?
You know what? That's one we're going to have to explore. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
Because I haven't tried yet. Usually, if it says insert media, let me go to my thing and see what happens. Oops. Escape. Hold on. There we go. Let me go to my account really quickly. Deck.Toys. Sorry, my tools are so in the way I can't see what I need to see.
I don't like that about Zoom.
I'm trying to get my toys out of my way. All right, so let me go to my dashboard. I know. All right. Let's play with this one. Let's edit the deck. Oh, that's right. I didn't make a copy of it. So the other thing to do, if you want to be able to edit it, you have to make a copy. If you just pull it in, it will take your student scores for you, and it won't give your student scores to the person who created the deck, but I can't edit this one. So let me go back. I didn't want to mess with the other one because, let me see if it'll let me edit. I can edit this one because it's mine. So let's say I go to slide activity. This is going to be a challenge. Okay. And then edit. Let's just cancel that. Edit activity. There we go. Insert media. Google Drive. Oh, slides, by the way.
Ooh.
Whoop, whoop. So there's Google Slides, PowerPoint, image, audio, or video, but it has to be in your drive. That said, there is another option, but you might have noticed, which was insert link or embed site or video. So this is if you know how to get the embed, oh good, it just needs the URL or the embed code. So if you go to YouTube, you can get the YouTube video there with the URL. You can also get the embed code in YouTube. But if you have a video from another site, you can put that link here. It doesn't have to be YouTube. If you have a video on your hard drive, it looks like this one only does image. It says image, PowerPoint, PDF, and it doesn't indicate that video is an option. But let me see what happens if I choose a video. They're all a little long. I'm going to see if that one's short. Nope. So no, you can't upload video, but you could upload the video to your Google Drive. And from there, you would be able to insert media from Drive. And that would include any media that's in your Drive. So basically, you will be able to add video from any source. It just depends whether you need to add it as a link or whether you need to put the video into your Google Drive. Nice. Thank you for that question. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is actually, I'm going to back out of what I just went full screen on in a second. But no, I'm sorry. There's no talk about the district paying for the pro version. I would start with the free version, see how much you like it. You can actually, so far I'm working okay with the free version. I'll share the limits in a little bit, but, and then you can look into either site funds, grade level or department funds, PTA grants, donors choose, like you can look at all the usual places if you would like to go after the pro version for yourself. So the gallery, when you get there, looks a little bit like this. There are thousands upon thousands of pre-created decks that decks created by others all around the world. So they're not all in English. You can filter by subject. Notice that filtering by world languages really isn't the option. So for those of you in the room who are language teachers, I know I have at least two. You'll actually have to go down and just filter by language. and then try filtering. You can multiple filter. So filter by language and filter by subject possibly, and see if you can get something that is close to what your students are working on or would be able to understand and work with. So when you first get there, there's just all these decks and it's everything. But if you use the filters, that should help you hone in on what you would like. So we have some kindergarten teachers here, for example. So I'm in my account right now. By the way, if I wanted to upgrade to Pro, it's $8 a month, but it's billed for the whole year at once. So essentially it's $96 a year. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the gallery now that I'm signed in. And this is where you could tell this is where I got the screenshot. So you could go here and it's saying there's only 164 decks, but that is not true. Let's see if I just go to pre-K 2, because notice when I went to pre-K 2, there are 1,399 decks that got tagged as being pre-K 2. So now let's say I say pre-K 2 language arts. Now there's 833 decks. Okay. And then once I'm there, if I see one that looks promising, you have no idea yet. Like, I don't know if this is any good. Let's preview it. So you open it up and it will let you open. Oh, here's your start. It will let you open every single thing and see it. And here's your immersive reader. I didn't turn on audio with this screen share, so I know it won't come out very good, but. Okay, so it opens up immersive reader.
Start here. You have been chosen to teach the giant an important lesson. Get your thinking caps on and let's begin.
Okay. And so then I can go back and I can close it. And now I can go to the next activity. Arrange parts of the story in the correct order. So this goes back to, I think it was Stephanie's comment and concern. Notice that before starting the activity, there is a place where the teacher can add instructions. So the thing I'm trying to do is put the story in the correct order. So this little up and down arrow tells me that I can drag. I don't know the story, but but there's a story here and they can move things into the right order. And when it's all done correctly, they'll be able to achieve that challenge. And then they can go here, path incomplete. Now notice I'm just previewing. So I'm like, oh, I get that. That's fine. I don't need to play the whole thing. So I can skip completing the activities to continue previewing by saying, teacher, continue to activity. So click on the arrows to match the words to the sentences correctly. So grumbled, the boy grumbled when he was told to clean his room. Oh, well, I wonder if this one set it up as the key because, oh, no, that didn't work. Okay. Hold on, zoomed into the sky. So I can close this without finishing and I can go ahead and go to the next one and say, yeah, but I'm the teacher. I just want to see what the activity is. Okay. So make sure you preview. Once you preview, it must be almost time. It is. We're going to have to end soon because my next session is coming in. Once you preview, if you like it, here's the key. You can assign it directly to one of your 2 free classrooms in Deck.Toys. If you do that, you won't be able to edit it. If you make a copy, you will be able to edit the copy. If you happen to like this one and think that this author might have done some additional good decks, you can view all the decks by that author. Okay. So, and the share with other teachers is how you add decks to the gallery. And that's actually how you get more decks that you can have in your account because they're public. And with the free version, you're limited to only 3 private decks, but you can have 100 public ones. So let me take you very quickly through the rest of our thing. I reckon some of you are coming in for the next session and that's fine. We'll be there in just a moment. So this slide reminds you of how to get started and where to go to create your account. You'll want to create it with Google. It reminds you about doing the gallery. And then I actually give you some screenshots about previewing the game. Make sure you reset when you're done because your scores save. So there's an actual reset feature that you have after you're done. Or when you start a new game, it'll say, do you want to reset? So you just saw me show a little bit of this earlier today. You can you share it with students by giving them the link. And then you go to your teacher view when you're ready to do it with your students. I highly recommend you do a practice run your first time. Bring, if you have kids at home, have them try it. If you want to grab, get together with a few teachers one day and open it up and have them try it with you, definitely do a test run because it takes a little bit to learn how to launch a game and get comfortable with it. But I did give you slides on how to launch a game as well. Okay, so that you know what to do. Then I gave you a screenshot that tells you a little bit about what will happen. I even have a different game. This is from a different one that I created. So I gave you a hint in case you use Game Show because I tried it as a test run yesterday and it was super hard. And then we figured out how to get it to run as a teacher. And finally, this one I just took today. This shows you where your students are and that you can track their progress in points. And then we were going to have time to talk about that. I gave you a link to another source for digital breakouts, completely different, not this platform at all. But if you like this and would like to see some other ones, you can go to Breakout EDU, make a free account, and then only go for the free digital games. If you see the words use kit or kit required, those are for the ones you do in your classroom once your students are back with you in person. And on the last slide, I would appreciate your evaluation. Let me know how this went. And I want to thank you again for coming. I know we're out of time.